Market Mantra, Market Mantra, Market Mantra, Market Mantra, Market Mantra, Market Mantra.
Bharti Hexacom Limited, a subsidiary of Bharti Airtel Limited, now proposes an initial public offer of equity shares. The 100% book built offer is being offered at a price band of rupees 542 to rupees 570 per equity share of face value rupees 5 each. Offer opens on Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. Offer closes on Friday, April 5th, 2024. The anchor investor bidding date is Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. For risks involved and other details, please refer to the red herring prospectus dated March 22nd, 2024, which is available on the websites of the company, SEBI, the BRLMs and the stock exchanges. Bharti Hexacom Limited, a subsidiary of Bharti Airtel Limited, now proposes an initial public offer of equity shares. The 100% book built offer is being offered at a price band of rupees 542 to rupees 570 per equity share of face value rupees 5 each. Offer opens on Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. Offer closes on Friday, April 5th, 2024. The anchor investor bidding date is Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. For risks involved and other details, please refer to the red herring prospectus dated March 22nd, 2024, which is available on the websites of the company, SEBI, the BRLMs and the stock exchanges.
Good evening and welcome to the Thursday edition of Market Mantra, the program in which we give you a complete update on the economic news of the day. My name is Rajesh Lake and with me is my co-anchor in Hindi, Vibhuti Mishra.
धन्यवाद राजेश जी। नमस्कार श्रोताओं, मार्केट मंथ कार्यक्रम में आपका स्वागत है। आज के अंक में देश विदेश की आर्थिक गतिविधियों के साथ साथ शेयर बाजार की हलचल पर नजर डालेंगे और इस पर चर्चा भी करेंगे। चर्चा के लिए आज हमारे साथ स्टूडियो में मौजूद हैं वरिष्ठ आर्थिक पत्रकार दीप शिखा सिकरवार। दीप शिखा जी, कार्यक्रम में आपका स्वागत है।
A warm welcome, Deep Shikha.
थैंक यू राकेश जी।
और सबसे पहले अंग्रेजी में हेडलाइंस बता रहे हैं मेरे सहयोगी राजेश लेख।
Sensex and Nifty end at record closing high ahead of RBI policy decision. A private survey states India's services sector growth hits 13.5-year high in March on robust demand conditions. Gold price rose 850 rupees to hit fresh all-time high of 70,000 rupees per 10 grams in spot market.
आरबीआई की मौद्रिक नीति समिति की बैठक के नतीजों की घोषणा से पहले सेंसेक्स और निफ्टी नए रिकॉर्ड स्तर पे बंद। एक निजी सर्वेक्षण में कहा गया है कि भारी मांग के कारण मार्च में देश के सेवा क्षेत्र की वृद्धि 13.5 साल के उच्चतम स्तर पर पहुंची और हाजिर बाजार में सोने की कीमत 850 रुपये की उछाल के साथ 70,000 रुपये प्रति 10 ग्राम की नई सर्वकालिक ऊंचाई पर पहुंची। और वित्तीय और आईटी शेयरों में मजबूत लिवाली से घरेलू शेयर बाजार 2 दिन की गिरावट के बाद आज तेज उछाल के साथ नई सर्वकालिक ऊंचाई पर बंद हुए हैं। इसके अलावा निवेशकों ने आरबीआई की मौद्रिक नीति समिति के ब्याज दर निर्णय में यथास्थिति की उम्मीद करते हुए चुनिंदा बैंकिंग शेयरों में खरीदारी की। आरबीआई की मौद्रिक नीति समिति कल द्विमासिक मौद्रिक नीति की घोषणा करेगी। बीएसई सेंसेक्स 351 अंक या 0.47% बढ़कर 74,228 के अब तक के उच्चतम स्तर पर बंद हुआ। एनएसई निफ्टी भी 80 अंक या 0.36% की बढ़त के साथ 22,515 अंकों के नए शिखर पर पहुंच गया। विदेशी मुद्रा बाजार में आज अमेरिकी डॉलर के मुकाबले रुपया 83 रुपये और 44 पैसे पे बंद हुआ। विश्व की 6 प्रमुख मुद्राओं की तुलना में डॉलर की मजबूती दर्शाने वाला डॉलर इंडेक्स अंतर्दिवसीय कारोबार में 104.10 पर कारोबार कर रहा था। और अब अंग्रेजी में बता रहे हैं स्टॉक जो मार्केट है इसका हाल हमारे सहयोगी राजेश लेख।
Equity benchmark indices rebounded sharply today after 2 days of correction to close at an new all-time high, propelled by strong performances from financial and information technology stocks. Besides, investors lapped up select banking stocks, expecting a status quo in the interest rate decision of the RBI's Monetary Policy Committee. The 6-member rate-setting panel, which began its deliberations on Wednesday, will announce the decision tomorrow. The 30-share BSE Sensex rose 351 points or 0.47% to close at its lifetime high of 74,228. The broader NSE Nifty also hit its fresh peak of 22,515, gaining 80 points or 0.36%. Among the Sensex constituents, HDFC Bank, Titan, Tech Mahindra and Asian Paints being the major gainers. On the other hand, SBI, Bharti Airtel, JSW Steel, Power Grid, ITC and Reliance closed the trading session in the red. BSE Midcap fell 0.11%, while Small Cap Index gained 0.4%. In sectoral indices at the BSE, IT sector rose 0.90%, Consumer Durables Index jumped 0.85%, and Utilities sector soared 0.80%. In contrast, Oil and Gas Index declined 1.65% and Energy sector fell 1%. How do you see, Deepshikha, the way the Sensex performed today? And along with that, what will be the outcome of the 6-member rate-setting panel which started its deliberations on Wednesday? What are your expectations from their decision tomorrow?
The widespread understanding is that RBI will not sort of take any decision on the rate cut in haste. And it will wait out till, it sees how the monsoons fare and how the inflation sort of moves. So I think tomorrow all indications are that status quo would be maintained. But I think what markets are really sort of taking into account is what's happening globally. If you look at the Fed statement, if you look at the ECB indications, so they are seeing more positive movement and its impact in India as well. And I think what the markets would keenly watch out for in MPC statement is what is the language that it uses. So if you look at the previous MPC statement, the language was not that hawkish, and I think that is what the all-round expectation is. So, which is what we are seeing in the stock markets as well.
So what you're saying is that the Fed is the one which will be the key driver of what the RBI or any other emerging market or emerging central bank will do next. All hinges on what Fed says tomorrow.
No, I'm not exactly saying that RBI will toe the Fed line, but definitely it takes into account all other factors. But what will drive its decision here is data, data on prices, and especially with what happens to monsoons. So that is something, domestic factors would drive RBI's decision much more than the global factors, and RBI is, I think, made that very clear.
वक्त ब्रेक का है, जल्द वापस लौटते हैं.
Bharti Hexacom Limited, a subsidiary of Bharti Airtel Limited, now proposes an initial public offer of equity shares. The 100% book built offer is being offered at a price band of Rs 542 to Rs 570 per equity share of face value Rs 5 each. Offer opens on Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. Offer closes on Friday, April 5th, 2024. The anchor investor bidding date is Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. For risks involved and other details, please refer to the red herring prospectus dated March 22nd, 2024, which is available on the websites of the company, SEBI, the BRLMs and the stock exchanges. Bharti Hexacom Limited, a subsidiary of Bharti Airtel Limited, now proposes an initial public offer of equity shares. The 100% book built offer is being offered at a price band of Rs 542 to Rs 570 per equity share of face value Rs 5 each. Offer opens on Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. Offer closes on Friday, April 5th, 2024. The anchor investor bidding date is Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. For risks involved and other details, please refer to the red herring prospectus dated March 22nd, 2024, which is available on the websites of the company, SEBI, the BRLMs and the stock exchanges.
Welcome back to Market Mantra. We're in discussion with business journalist Deepshikha. Deepshikha, we were talking about RBI's role, that it will the outcome of the RBI meeting since yesterday. The outcome is more likely that the interest rates will remain unchanged tomorrow. As you also said, the status quo will be maintained. And the chances of early cut is fading primarily because of two factors. As you said, monsoon, but the government is talking about the coming heat wave and also the economy growing faster than expected. What's your take?
Definitely. While, the economy, the growth, if we've seen all the fast moving indicators, they've performed very well. And if you look at the auto sales, you look at the PMI data, we have PMI services come out today. So all indications are that the economy growth remains very robust. Demand is also picking up. There was a divergence between urban and rural, but now all indications are that the rural economy is also joining the urban economy, and this divergence is sort of narrowing. So I think all this data would sort of play on RBI's mind, the MPC's mind, when it decides. But tomorrow, in all likelihood, I think all indications are that it remains unchanged.
Okay. So do you expect the governor to indirectly drop a hint on liquidity more than rates? Because rates will impact liquidity. And if you loosen up liquidity, it does not matter what the rates are, Deepshika.
If you look at, if you see the past two statements, governor has been sort of making comments on the liquidity, and I think the effort from the RBI side has been to maintain like a balanced situation with regard to liquidity. And if you look at, we are entering the election cycle. So typically what happens is liquidity is a bit higher. So I think RBI would be closely watching it.
So what do you think the fear of inflation is over? Let me say the crude is at roughly about $90. Copper prices are moving higher. We have a heat wave coming, which means vegetable inflation could also make a comeback. Is it time to look forward and say that inflation could come back?
So there is a fear of inflation. It has moderated substantially, but if you look at the global commodity prices, crude has started inching up, which is a very big worry for India because we are a large importer. And definitely, prices, especially food prices, because that's a substantial part of our retail inflation basket, it hinges on how the monsoon behaves. So it will depend on RBI's decision going forward, would depend on what happens on the inflation side. And definitely, I think it'll be closely monitored.
So, Deepshika, everything in India is looking great. Macros are great, GDP is great, fiscal deficit is coming under control, tax collections are strong, capex has started. But why is the rupee at an all-time high? My colleague read out the figures a while back, when every economic indicator is supporting and favorable.
So if you look at what happened in the US markets and so on, I think that has had impact on the rupee, as also, we saw that the crude prices inched up. So definitely there was much demand for dollar per se, and that had an impact on the rupee today.
जी उतार चढ़ाव के साथ लगातार हमने ये देखा है कि और ये चर्चा भी हुई है कि जो सेंसेक्स है वो 2-3 साल के आसपास जो है लाख तक पहुंच सकता है
जी।
तो आप इस पे क्या कहना चाहोगे?
देखिए, अगर आप भारतीय अर्थव्यवस्था को देखें और कुछ समय से अगर आप देखें कि जो एनालिस्ट हैं, दुनिया भर के एनालिस्ट हैं, या उनके जो प्रोजेक्शंस आ रहे हैं भारतीय अर्थव्यवस्था को लेकर के, सभी का ये मानना है कि भारतीय अर्थव्यवस्था जो है बहुत अच्छी स्थिति में है। और आगे के अगर उनके प्रोजेक्शंस देखें तो ऐसा लगता है कि अर्थव्यवस्था सही दिशा में जा रही है और ग्रोथ जो है बिल्कुल ठीक रहेगी, डिमांड ठीक रहेगी। इन्फ्लेशन पर भी हमने काफ़ी हद तक काबू पा लिया है। अगर ये फैक्टर्स जो हैं, जैसे हीट वेव की बात हो रही है, अगर मॉनसून का अनसर्टनिटी, मॉनसून भी बढ़िया होता है तो भारतीय ग्रोथ जो है, अर्थव्यवस्था जो है बहुत अच्छा कर सकती है। उसके अलावा अगर आप मैक्रो फैक्टर्स देखें तो मैक्रो स्थिति जो है काफ़ी हद तक जो मेजर्स सरकार की तरफ से लिए गए, फिस्कल डेफिसिट को बहुत स्लिप नहीं करने दिया गया, उसे कंट्रोल में रखा गया है। तो इन सारे फैक्टर्स जो हैं ये निवेशकों के दिमाग में रहेंगे, इसीलिए पोटेंशियल जो है भारतीय स्टॉक मार्केट्स में काफ़ी हद तक देखा जा रहा है, क्योंकि अर्थव्यवस्था जो है वो काफ़ी अच्छी स्थिति में है, और अगर दुनिया भर की अर्थव्यवस्थाओं को देखें उनसे तो बहुत अच्छी स्थिति में है।
अच्छा, एक निवेशक का मुझे आप मूड समझाइए। जैसे कि जो समिति की जो बैठक है मौद्रिक नीति की, वो कल ही शुरू हो गई थी, लेकिन हमने 2 दिन थोड़ा गिरावट देखा, आज हम ऑल टाइम हाई पे तो ये किस तरह का मूड है कि जो लिवाली ज़्यादा रही आज?
देखिए, जो एक नर्वसनेस आती है कि आरबीआई की बैठक हो रही है, लेकिन बहुत हद तक नर्वसनेस जो है मार्केट में देखने को आ रही थी जो विदेशी अर्थव्यवस्था में हो रहा है। अगर आप देखें कि जियोपॉलिटिक्स में तो मिडल ईस्ट में भी एक फ्रेश अटैक हुआ, तो उसको लेकर के थोड़ा सा अनसर्टनिटी बढ़ गया था, वो आपको दिखाई दिया बाज़ारों में। अब बाज़ार जो है, यूएस फेड का जो स्टेटमेंट आया है, दुनिया के बाज़ार जो हैं उसको अलग तरह से इंटरप्रेट कर रहे हैं, और वही मार्केट में काफ़ी उछाल आया, बाकी बाज़ारों में भी उछाल आया। उसका कुछ हद तक असर हमारे यहाँ भी आया है। हमारी जो अर्थव्यवस्था की स्थिति है वो काफ़ी अच्छी है, और अब ये ऐसा इंडिकेशन है कि हो सकता है आरबीआई की जो एमपीसी की बैठक चल रही है उसकी कमेंट्री जो आएगी वो काफ़ी इंडिकेट करेगी कि हो सकता है रेट कट की दिशा में हम भी कदम बढ़ाएं। तो वही आपको सेंटिमेंट जो है वही दिखाई दे रहा है।
जी, अब एशिया और यूरोप के बाजार का हाल जानते हैं। एशियाई शेयर आज मिले जुले रुख के साथ बंद हुए। दक्षिण कोरिया का कोस्पी सूचकांक 1.30% बढ़कर बंद हुआ। जापान का निक्केई भी 0.80% और सिंगापुर का स्टेट्स टाइम्स सूचकांक 0.40% बढ़ गया, जबकि हांगकांग का हैंगसेंग सूचकांक 1.25% और चीन का शंघाई कंपोजिट सूचकांक 0.20% गिर गया। यूरोपीय बाजार आज बढ़त के साथ कारोबार कर रहे थे। अंतिम समाचार मिलने तक लंदन का फुट्सी 0.44%, फ्रांस का कैक और जर्मनी का डेक्स 0.10% ऊपर कारोबार कर रहे थे।
The S&P 500 and Nasdaq ended on a positive note yesterday after data showing the US services industry growth slowed further in March. However, gains were limited as Federal Reserve Chair Jeremy Powell indicated a cut in interest was still not in sight. At the closing bell, the S&P 500 rose 0.10% and the Nasdaq Composite jumped 0.20%. On the other hand, the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 0.1%. The big question, will they cut the rate or not cut the rate? After this commercial break, Deepshika, we will discuss.
Bharti Hexacom Limited, a subsidiary of Bharti Airtel Limited, now proposes an initial public offer of equity shares. The 100% book built offer is being offered at a price band of Rs 542 to Rs 570 per equity share of face value Rs 5 each. Offer opens on Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. Offer closes on Friday, April 5th, 2024. The anchor investor bidding date is Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. For risks involved and other details, please refer to the Red Herring Prospectus dated March 22nd, 2024, which is available on the websites of the company, SEBI, the BRLMs and the stock exchanges. Bharti Hexacom Limited, a subsidiary of Bharti Airtel Limited, now proposes an initial public offer of equity shares. The 100% book built offer is being offered at a price band of Rs 542 to Rs 570 per equity share of face value Rs 5 each. Offer opens on Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. Offer closes on Friday, April 5th, 2024. The anchor investor bidding date is Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. For risks involved and other details, please refer to the Red Herring Prospectus dated March 22nd, 2024, which is available on the websites of the company, SEBI, the BRLMs and the stock exchanges.
Welcome back to Market Mantra. We are in conversation with Deepshika and we were talking about whether the Fed will cut the rates or not.
If you look at Fed's statement, he has continued with what he said earlier. And markets are, I think, keenly keeping a watch on the data which is coming out. So payroll data is expected. So the indication overall is that he's indicating that probably he would go with the cut, but he's still not giving a very, very clear indication on the timing. So I think that is why you saw this whole entire mixed thing. But largely, I think the markets are building on, banking on the expectation that there is a cut coming in. Although there is no direct assurance, unlike the ECB, which has said
Firmly
that
said,
they
yes,
will
yeah.
go ahead with a cut.
So if the US core inflation does not settle at least at 0.3% month on month, which is 3.6% year on year, it is, don't you think, impossible for the Fed to cut? So, and related to this is my statement that rate cuts are much more of a global call than that of a central bank in any emerging market.
Well, yes, global factors will play on definitely, and especially with commodity prices, especially crude rising. So how does Fed sees it? But I think most central bankers, they will look at the domestic and local data on the price front, and if things look positive, if there are inherent indicators that prices going forward will sort of temper down, I think Fed may go ahead with a rate cut.
So let's
and
look at
that is what the Fed has been indicating so far. So it will all be dependent on the data which comes out, especially in the price surveys and also the other data on the economic front. So if you look at the economic data, the basic payroll data and other indicators, those have been pretty okay. So the economy has not suffered a hard landing per se. So, but markets would definitely, it'll be a disappointing factor for markets.
So how
if
will
it doesn't
affect
happen.
the Indian markets if they were to cut it or if they were not to cut it?
So if there is a delay, definitely I think the overall sentiment would sort of dampen, not just globally but also in India. Also, in the expectation of the rate cut, we've begun to see some flows coming in. There could be some impact on that, if there is a further delay. But I would still say the overall sentiment building up is that, all indications are that he possibly could go for a cut.
Okay, moving on, as per a private monthly survey, India's services sector witnessed one of the strongest growth rates in over 13 and a half years in March on the back of strong demand that spurred sales and business activity. The seasonally adjusted HSBC India Services Business Activity Index rose from 60.6 in February to 61.2 in March, one of the strongest expansions in total sales and business activity in close to 14 years. In the Purchasing Managers Index PMI parlance, a print above 50 means expansion, while a score below 50 denotes contraction. The upturn was largely attributed to healthy demand conditions, efficiency gains and positive sales development, the survey said. Meanwhile, the HSBC India Composite PMI Output Index rose from 60.6 in Feb to 61.8 in March, highlighting the second strongest upturn in over 13 and a half years. Your quick view on the performance of the PMI.
I think it's just indicating what's happening in the
In the
services
parlance,
sector.
I've already
Services
communicated.
sector. Your
Yes.
hotels are full. Your airlines are seeing full bookings. So I think the demand that we saw post-COVID, post-pandemic, which was seen as a pent-up demand, but that pent-up demand has continued, and the demand has continued to be very, very robust in the services sector, and that's really holding it.
So you're attributing that to the pent-up demand mostly?
No, I'm not saying it is still pent-up demand, but that pent-up demand has held on, and now it's built on to what we witnessed, the sudden surge in demand.
वक्त एक ब्रेक का है, जल्द वापस लौटते हैं.
Bharti Hexacom Limited, a subsidiary of Bharti Airtel Limited, now proposes an initial public offer of equity shares. The 100% book built offer is being offered at a price band of rupees 542 to rupees 570 per equity share of face value rupees 5 each. Offer opens on Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. Offer closes on Friday, April 5th, 2024. The anchor investor bidding date is Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. For risks involved and other details, please refer to the red herring prospectus dated March 22nd, 2024, which is available on the websites of the company, SEBI, the BRLMs and the stock exchanges. Bharti Hexacom Limited, a subsidiary of Bharti Airtel Limited, now proposes an initial public offer of equity shares. The 100% book built offer is being offered at a price band of rupees 542 to rupees 570 per equity share of face value rupees 5 each. Offer opens on Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. Offer closes on Friday, April 5th, 2024. The anchor investor bidding date is Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. For risks involved and other details, please refer to the red herring prospectus dated March 22nd, 2024, which is available on the websites of the company, SEBI, the BRLMs and the stock exchanges.
ब्रेक के बाद आपका स्वागत है। सोना और चांदी का हाल जानते हैं। आज मल्टी कमोडिटी एक्सचेंज में जून अनुबंध के लिए सोना सपाट कारोबार कर रहा था। सोना 33 रुपये गिरकर 69,766 रुपये प्रति 10 ग्राम पर कारोबार कर रहा था। वहीं हाजिर बाजार में सोना 850 रुपये की उछाल के साथ 70,000 रुपये प्रति 10 ग्राम के पार पहुंच गया। इससे पिछले सत्र में भी सोने की कीमत रिकॉर्ड उच्च स्तर पर पहुंच गई थी। अंतिम समाचार मिलने तक मई अनुबंध के लिए चांदी 684 रुपये बढ़कर 79,695 रुपये प्रति किलोग्राम पर कारोबार कर रही थी। वैश्विक बाजारों में दिन के कारोबार में सोना कॉमेक्स पर $2,294 और 14 सेंट प्रति औंस पर कारोबार कर रहा था। संक्षेप में आपसे जानना चाहेंगे कि हाजिर बाजार में 850 रुपये की उछाल और 70,000 रुपये के पार पहुंचना, सोना, क्या कहना है आपका?
देखिए, जो ग्लोबल मार्केट्स में एक थोड़ी अनसर्टनिटी जो मिडिल ईस्ट को लेकर के बनी हुई है, क्योंकि हमने देखा 2 दिन पहले एक ईरान की एम्बेसी पे अटैक हो गया था और अब ईरान ने कहा है वो रिटेलिएट करेगा। तो एक जाहिर सी बात है कि निवेशक जो हैं एक सेफ हेवन ढूंढते हैं और गोल्ड को देखा जा रहा है। दूसरा, जो गोल्ड में अगर आप देखें जो डिमांड बनी हुई है, चाइनीज़ जो है रिज़र्व बैंक, चाइनीज़ जो इंडिविजुअल्स हैं उनकी तरफ से भी गोल्ड काफ़ी ख़रीदा गया है। तो ये देखा गया कि ओवरऑल जो सेंट्रल बैंक्स है वो भी ख़रीद रहे हैं। और दूसरा, ये जो जियोपॉलिटिकल अनसर्टनिटी है उसकी वजह से ये डिमांड जो है काफ़ी मजबूत बनी हुई है और सोना जो है वही बढ़त दिखा रहा है।
Moving on, the oil prices remain stable today amid worries of lower supply due to ongoing output cuts by major producers and indications of robust economic expansion in the US. The Brent crude oil futures was down at $89.24, whereas West Texas Intermediate was lower at $85.30 when reports last came in. And the Central Board of Direct Taxes has facilitated taxpayers to file their income tax returns for the assessment year 2024-25 from the 1st of April 2024 onwards.
दीपशिखा जी, कार्यक्रम में आने और चर्चा के लिए आपका बहुत धन्यवाद।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you for being with us, Deepshika. And before we close the headlines once again, Sensex and Nifty end at record closing high ahead of RBI policy decision. A private survey states India's services sector growth hits 13.5-year high in March on robust demand conditions. And gold price rose 850 rupees to hit fresh all-time high of 70,000 rupees per 10 grams in spot market. That's all we have in this edition of Market Mantra. Till tomorrow, goodbye.
नमस्कार।
Bharti Hexacom Limited, a subsidiary of Bharti Airtel Limited, now proposes an initial public offer of equity shares. The 100% book built offer is being offered at a price band of rupees 542 to rupees 570 per equity share of face value rupees 5 each. Offer opens on Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. Offer closes on Friday, April 5th, 2024. The anchor investor bidding date is Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. For risks involved and other details, please refer to the red herring prospectus dated March 22nd, 2024, which is available on the websites of the company, SEBI, the BRLMs and the stock exchanges. Bharti Hexacom Limited, a subsidiary of Bharti Airtel Limited, now proposes an initial public offer of equity shares. The 100% book built offer is being offered at a price band of rupees 542 to rupees 570 per equity share of face value rupees 5 each. Offer opens on Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. Offer closes on Friday, April 5th, 2024. The anchor investor bidding date is Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. For risks involved and other details, please refer to the Red Herring Prospectus dated March 22nd, 2024, which is available on the websites of the company, SEBI, the BRLMs and the stock exchanges.
Market Mantra.